Thanks for joining us. I'm Sam Shocker. The sentencing hearing for music mogul Diddy Combs is underway in a New York courtroom right now. His defense team is arguing he should only get 14 months in prison for his conviction on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. In July, a jury acquitted Combs of the most serious charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Those could have resulted in a life sentence. Still, federal prosecutors say he is unrepentant for what he was found guilty of, and they are arguing for at least 11 years behind bars. Combs's kids have already pleaded with the judge, saying their father is actually a changed man who should get mercy. Combs himself is also expected to speak today. NBC News will have the latest on the hearing coming up at 1. Well, he dedicated 33 years of his life to fighting fires, but that also put him at a higher risk for cancer. And that's what killed retired Arvada firefighter Kevin Jacovetta. This morning, his friends, colleagues, and community paid tribute with a procession down the streets of Arvada. Jacovetta was also being buried today. He was diagnosed with cancer in 2023, and the fire department considers his death line of duty because it was directly tied to his time as a firefighter. The 61-year-old earned the department's Medal of Valor after he suffered burns searching for people inside a house fire in 2011. Jacovetta recovered from those injuries and returned to work, but in 2021, those injuries led to his retirement. His colleagues say that Jacovetta was a bright light at work. Well, there are plenty of things to do this weekend. One of them has transformed Coors Field into a course that will operate kind of like Topgolf, with people hitting golf balls as far as they can. But will the weather cooperate for all the events? Joining me now, Keely Chalmers with our 9 News Weather Impact team. Hey, Keely, happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday. That is super cool. I want to do that. Weather is going to be fantastic today. It is going to be great for much of the day tomorrow. A little bit breezy, certainly at times tomorrow. And we do have some storms in the mix later on tomorrow as well as Sunday. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but let's focus on how beautiful today is. It is gorgeous. We've got sunshine, temperatures climbing up into the 80s where we already are. We're at 84 degrees already outside the 9 News studios. Central Park, 80 degrees, and 79 at DIA. Centennial checking in at 80 degrees. So temperatures, again, we're looking mainly 70, 80s across the plains. 60s up in the high country. We're at 82 degrees right now in Grand Junction. Live radar, high pressure still dominating our weather pattern. And that is not going to be the case after today. And we'll show you that in just a second as we have some storms moving in. But as of today, this is 5 o'clock, really just seeing the moisture in form of clouds over the metro area. We are seeing some storms move in over the southern mountains. This is today. And then we're going to see those storms kind of move out as we head into the, well, actually, as we head into the afternoon, we're going to see those storms stick up in the high country, but we are going to stay dry down at the lower elevation. Sunny and warm today, 86 degrees, and hour by hour, we are looking at lots of sunshine, just a few clouds moving in by this evening, but again, a big cool down as we head into the weekend, Sunday, next week as well. We'll talk more about that coming up in your complete forecast in just a bit.
Keely, thank you. Loveland will not reopen its only overnight homeless shelter for adults after shutting down this week. Last night, the city council vote to extend the South Railroad facility's permit ended in a split, which means it failed. It closed because its temporary permit expired. There was hope that the council would allow it to reopen. Now, some of the people without shelter are camped outside Loveland City Hall and say they'll stay there as long as they have to because they have nowhere else to go.
You knew this was going to happen in March or April. How come you guys didn't advise us homeless so we could find a place or an opportunity to go? You wait until 30 days and then throw us to the curb?
That was Loveland's only overnight shelter. In some closing comments, council members acknowledged failures on the city's part throughout this process. The mayor says she still hopes for a permanent solution by next week. The Department of Energy, led by oil and gas executive Chris Wright from Colorado, is canceling grant funds to projects nationwide. That includes $500 million to more than 30 projects in Colorado, according to our partners at the Denver Business Journal. The grants were awarded during the Biden administration, focused on reducing greenhouse gas emissions. CSU is seeing the largest cuts. The New York Times is reporting $326 million have been cut from a study to help reduce methane leaks from oil and gas wells. Cuts also have hit battery recycling and microgrid upgrades in Colorado. The grant recipients have 30 days to appeal. And Colorado is expanding its EV rebate program in response to federal cuts to tax credits. Starting on November 3rd, the state will boost its rebates to $9,000 for new EVs and $6,000 for used ones. Democratic Governor Jared Polis says the change is meant to offset the Trump administration's decision last month to eliminate federal incentives. The state says the program has already helped more than 2,700 Coloradans go electric, and they want to keep that momentum going. It is day 3 of the federal government shutdown, and today the Senate is voting on the same GOP funding bill that already failed 3 times now. Democrats are expected to block it. Once again, Democrats say they don't want to keep voting on the same legislation. They want to negotiate changes that help stop health care premiums from going up for people on Obamacare. Meanwhile, the White House says President Trump plans to fire thousands of federal workers, and that could start as early as today. President Trump has started a clock for the Israel-Hamas peace deal he initiated. He says Hamas must agree by Sunday night or face an even greater military onslaught. The plan calls for Hamas to free remaining Israel hostages, and the Israeli military would start withdrawing from parts of the Gaza Strip. It's been welcomed internationally, but Hamas officials say it ignores the interests of Palestinian people. Tuesday will mark 2 years since the attack on Israel that sparked the war.